Is good. It is big game, James. We are back in the streets. We back in these high school streets. And you know what? I took a little break. I was going, doing things, going to senior bowls, games, all that. We had all them slew of great interviews, but you know what? We back on the grind, and I got my guy Chuck Lanier. Am I saying it right? Is it Lanier?
Yes, sir. It's linear. It's linear.
Lanier. Okay, my bad. I want to say it right. Chuck Lanier, my dog Chuck Lanier from Illinois, 3-star defensive end, tight end. He got all the measurables, and we about to have a great interview. But I'm doing much too much talking. Let everybody know who you are and a little bit about yourself before we jump
Yes,
right.
sir. Chuck Lanier here. I'm a 18-year-old. I'm in high school. I go to Sacred Heart Griffin High School here in Springfield, Illinois. I'm I play football and I play basketball for my high school. I live in a two-parent home and I have a little baby sister as well. She's 8 years old. I I'm just happy to be here and I'm happy I have the opportunity to speak out loud in front of a crowd and someone that obviously cares. So I appreciate that.
Definitely, definitely. We're going to have a nice little interview. I'm excited to talk to you. It's funny because I seen you post on your Twitter, and when I seen that post, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm hitting Chuck up." You know what I'm saying? We about to get that. We about to get that interview popping. As soon as you follow me back, I said, "Yep, it's going down now." So yes, you are. We are finally here. We're going to talk some good football, amongst other things. So let's jump right into it now. So obviously, you're senior last year, but I want to ask you from the beginning, what got you started in football? What got you really into the game of football?
Right. So, growing up, uh, I wasn't the I wouldn't say I wasn't a football guy, football kid.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't play football elementary, didn't really play in middle school. And I remember going to a camp. It was the Albert O camp. He was a tight end, played for the Broncos in the NFL. He went to the same high school as me, him and Malik Turner. They had a football camp there, and I was I went there as a tight end, and the coaches at that high school told me that they think I'd be, good at DN to come play for them. So, and that's when I just decided, I should give football a try. I had the size for it. I was like, I'd say going into my freshman year, I was like 6'3", like 220 pounds. So it was like I feel like it was a good decision for me to go to that school. And then now I'm ending up here. So I feel like it worked out in the end for me.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. It did work out for you. Now we got a few people in the building. My guy Matt Leslie, my guy David Jenkins. They all said what's up to you. So we already got a few people in the building, and we like that. So, but you know what? Let's jump right into it. So you said you came in as a tight end, and then the coaches were like, "Hey, what about DN?" And I could see what they were thinking in their head because of that size. So I seen a couple posts where you said defensive end, tight end, and then another post where you said tight end, defensive end. When you're looking at both sides of the ball, what is your preference? What do you consider yourself?
I would consider myself a defensive end. And I say that because mostly in my high school career, that's what I was.
Hmm.
I'd say I didn't really get to play tight end, like play tight end until my senior year, getting
Hmm.
catches and doing stuff like that. So, and I've played D in my whole high school career, and it was just um, something I think I should be known as for. I think for my first position, I definitely am a DN slash tight end, and that's just what I've gotten my looks for in my offers. So definitely DN first, but I love playing tight end. Tight end is the funnest thing ever to me. I love being able to block someone and still being able to go run around. It's like an offensive lineman's dream. So, but yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh, hello, hello. Oh, hello.
Are you
Hello?
back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
I don't know what happened either, but give me 1 second. We apologize about that technical difficulty. Give me 1 second while I get myself back in here. Camera went on. Oh, it's trying to trip on me today, but that's all right. Are you still there, Chucky?
Oh, yes, sir. For sure.
All right. So while I'm figuring out this camera. Yeah, my audio went out. I am back, so I do apologize. Deshaun Taylor says, "What's up?" Once I figure out my camera, we're gonna go. But as long as you can hear me, this is about you. Y'all don't need to see me, so we're just talking to Chuck anyway. So don't worry about me. So you were talking about, how you were playing mostly defensive end, and then you played a little bit of tight end your senior year. Now I watched your tape. One of the things that I noticed about you in your tape was your power. You have a lot of good power. You know how to set that edge on the defensive end. Um, what would you really say are your strengths? Would you agree with me saying power, setting that edge will be your strengths? And if so, you agree with me with that. What would you think that you need to improve on, possibly going to the next level in college?
Yes, sir. So I definitely think my strengths were more towards the power and, setting the edge because that was just what I was taught
Hmm.
by my defensive end coach. He was just always, he was really big on, using your force, imposing your
Right,
will.
right,
And just also imposing your will, but having the IQ to know when to contain the edge and when to be an outside guy, when to be an inside guy. But I definitely think as my game is progressing, I would love, to be able to get more speed rush moves, to have some more finesse to my game, of course. Like,
uh
guys like Von Miller, TJ Watt, they have like a specific like move or a move
right.
set that they have that's just, very unique to them. And I just don't want to have, just one move and be very predictable. Cause as a D lineman, you gotta have a skill set. It can't just be one move. Cause O linemen, especially in college, they're all very smart. And once they
Mhm.
figure out what you're going to do, it's just not going to end up well for you.
Exactly. Especially if they're studying that tape about you and they kind of know that that's what your strength is, they're going to go after you with that particular thing and kind of use it against you. So you want to be able to have counter move because really it's like a chess piece when you're going against that offensive lineman. You do a move, he sees it, you do the move again, and then you can set him up with one move and do the other move. So it's almost like a chess game when I
Right.
see that. When I see a defensive end going against an offensive tackle, I mean, it's a really good thing, especially when you got a guy who can really has a real big toolbox and he can really set up the offensive lineman. So I could definitely feel where you're coming from in that aspect. So with your senior season, um, what do you feel like you really stood out for you in your senior season? What do you think you did best this year?
I definitely think one thing that stands out outside of, well, I'll say this. One thing that stood out coaches wise, what my coaches said was just my effort and, how much of a leader and a teammate I was. That's not really heard about on the outside, of course, but it matters a lot when you're trying to do something with that team, high school wise.
Mhm.
And then something I was noticed for, I definitely was just, just being able to impose my will. Like I said, I'd say I had a lot of tackles one game, and like there was one game we played the team from Bloomington. I had 15 tackles, and as a
Nice.
DN, that's kind of, I don't know.
That's
That's not,
unheard of.
yeah, that's unheard of. Like that's not a normal thing.
Mm-mm.
And I didn't realize how good I really was until coaches were from other schools would talk to me. Like I was never the type of guy to be self conceited or cocky. I was always humble. Like I always thought someone else, there was always someone else better than me. Because I feel like for a mindset, you got to have, you're never too good to get better.
Hmm.
Especially me.
Hmm.
I wasn't playing football until high school, and I know even now there's so much I need to learn. Like even the seniors, when I was a sophomore, junior in high school, I would call them up like the old edges. My friend Reggie, he plays at Quincy University, and I would just ask him, "Hey, like, whenever you come back in town, can we go to the field and work on some stuff?" And he would always say, "Yeah," because it's just the bond I build with the team, just being a good person and a role player for them back when I wasn't needed to play back in my earlier years. So I think what stood out for me is just my character and how I carry myself, really, because I feel like that's what matters most. You know, football is amazing, but it won't always be there for you. You know, at the end of the day, you're going to stop playing at one point. So it's
Hmm.
really about who you are inside of the helmet, and not always about how you are on the field, which that matters too. But there's more to life than just this, obviously. So I definitely say who I am is what stood out the most.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's awesome. You got me excited because you don't hear a lot of young men speaking like you do. So you already a leg up on a lot of people, especially with that attitude and that mindset, especially when you said, hey, I got a guy that's going to college right now, and I hit him up and say, hey, when you get here, let's train, let's work out. I want to be even better. I want to learn even more of the game. And that's really important. And everything you just said, that's what the coaches want to see and want to hear because that's what when they see that, they can mold you when they see that that's somebody that can always have a teachable moment and you become the leader for somebody else. I can already see the leadership qualities. I can already see what you were talking about on your team. You just transition that to college and it becomes a smooth transaction. And that's a beautiful thing, what you were talking about. Now, we were talking about a few things off the air before we actually started this interview. And it's something that I did as well. We're talking about playing multiple sports, which a lot of athletes are kind of doing right now, but especially if
Right.
you play football a lot of people, a lot of coaches like you to play multiple sports. They don't want you to just play one sport. And if they see you playing like a sport like basketball, maybe a track, they really, really like that. And you play basketball and you are pretty good at basketball. So talk about just the combination between basketball and football and what do you feel like how it correlates that kind of help you take your game to the next level between the two sports?
For sure. I'd say as a football player and a basketball player, I feel like you need both to be good in one. I feel like for basketball, you need the toughness and the strength and the, how football players correlate. You need that on the basketball court because you don't want to get bullied around, you know.
Hmm.
And like for football, if you're a basketball player, your feet work and like your footwork and your speed, like you should have an advantage from someone that doesn't play basketball, especially linemen. Like me, I'm an end, and if I'm going against a right or left tackle that only plays football, most of the time I should be faster than that person, and I should have more upside and more, just quick. I should be quicker than that person. So I feel
Hmm.
like you need both to really. I don't know. Like all the best players, I feel like in college they were really good basketball players in high
I
school.
agree.
So it's just it correlates. It does. It,
I
it does.
totally agree. I totally agree how it correlates because, like we were just talking, when you are really playing basketball and then you go hit the football field, I just feel like you just have a step above everybody else. And then just what you talk about with offensive lineman, your footwork, how you pace, because you know you're reach sliding, you're sliding back and forth. You know you're using a lot of your feet. Your feet are going to be really good at basketball. So if you have good feet in basketball and you go get on that football field, I feel like you're a leg up on people. I mean, look at LeBron James. He was a
Yeah,
dog in football. He was a dog. The only reason why he stopped playing football because they were just like, you're gonna get hurt. We don't want you to get hurt, and you're too good of a basketball player, so you got to stop playing football.
right.
But that when he transitioned right over to football to basketball, I feel like it just took him to another level because you had those combined sports, and it just does so much for you. So I totally agree with you with that. Now, with that being said, you are a senior. You said, hey, my recruitment is still open. I'm looking. Come look at me as coaches. So, what would you say if a college comes to you right now? We're really interested in you, Chucky. What would you say to them, or why they should recruit you, and why should they bring you to their university?
I'd say one, like I said earlier, I feel like my character is I feel like it's very unique. I feel like there aren't too many kids my age that even with posture and just how I go about myself, how I talk to one another, how eye contact, I feel like there's just a lack of that, to in today's society with our age of men. And I really bring that to the table. That's the first thing. And then obviously I feel like I'm good enough to play at a lot of schools in college. And I feel like I have the size for it also, being how tall and big I am.
Uh-huh.
So, and I do my work in school. Never had anything bad like that. I don't do anything weird. Was never much of a party guy, So it was just, I feel like I have all the main qualities, but
Right.
at the end of the day, it's really up to the coach and what he's looking for. So I just feel like as a person, I really think I'm the guy for a lot of schools, and as a player, I think I'm that guy for a lot of schools as well. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, they need to get you in there because you're wise beyond years. You know, you got some good parents. There's
Oh,
some good parents over there. There's some good parents and still some great things over you. And you said the thing that stood out to me was character. Character matters more than anything else, more to matter more than the skill set or anything, because you can always work with somebody that has good character because that
right,
person is willing to learn, willing to soak up knowledge, and that person's that can be the future leader to lead the other kids that are coming underneath you. So that is huge. So definitely feel you with that. Now, with that being said, what are you looking for with the university? What when you go to a school, obviously grades, academics, what would you be looking for on the academic side? And then on the athletic side, what are you looking for at a university from your own perspective?
right. So academically, I love the water, and my major was I wanted to major in oceanology, and
Hmm.
and at first I didn't realize, that's not at every school, because most of the schools that have that, have like a type of view. It's like a water view in their college, obviously. And if I couldn't major in that, I just wanted to major in something around the water. I love the water. I love being around the water. I love, it just it makes me feel more humane, if I could say that. It's just,
Uh-huh.
I if I could stay at the ocean for as long as I could, I would. Is I feel like that's like the one place where I feel like nothing possibly could go wrong. So, and then athletically, I tell coaches this all the time. I just want to go somewhere where I know I can compete for a spot.
Hmm.
Obviously, with the bigger schools, and when you go in there, they got guys, fourth, fifth year seniors that are just ready to, already there. And you're just, carrying bags or holding bags for them for the next 2 to 3 years until it's your
Right.
time. So I kind of want to go somewhere where I have at least the opportunity to show that I can help play my freshman year,
Right.
and somewhere where the coaches, take the time to develop you, not as an athlete, but as a person. Some coaches, uh, unfortunately, some coaches, if you're not good at football, they just, it's
Hmm.
just we'll see it. And I really like the coaches that take the time to get to know you as a person and try to help you become someone greater than the pads, because football will not be here forever, of course. And I also love the coaches that when they see a players like struggling mentally, they try to help them with that as well. So
Right.
just the coaches that take time out of the day to care, because
Yeah.
some coaches don't.
Yeah, you're totally right. Some coaches, it's about a numbers game. It's about the popularity game. It's about the win game. They ain't worried about anything else. But then there's those other coaches, and you see those coaches. I mean, you can tell those coaches instantly that really care. And really, honestly, the best teams, in my opinion, are the coaches that do care about the players, that do like, for as much as criticism as Deion Sanders gets, in my opinion, I love him because he actually, in my opinion, he loves those kids. He goes all out. He puts everything for them kids. And when kids see that, it's a different thing. I mean, I coached football for 15 years. I coached basketball for 5 years. Um, Let me tell you something. I love my kids, and they know it to this day. Like I got kids that are 26, 27 years old right now, and they say they're calling me Coach J. They ain't calling me by my first name. They're calling me Coach J because they seen what the real was. You feel me? They know that I really actually cared about them and loved them. So it goes a long way because once you build that bond, the player is going to go even harder for the university, for you, everything. So I totally agree with you with that. Now, with that being said, you're in Illinois. There's a lot of schools in Illinois, Chicago, a lot of football. I mean, there's a lot of the schools in general. Are you a homebody, or are you willing to go out of state? Kind of tell me about that. In state, out state, does that matter?
As much as I loved my parents and my friends, I like Illinois, I do, but
It's
I
time
was
to get
always
away.
more of, yeah, I was more of an out of
Yeah.
state guy. Especially where I stay at, I feel like there's way more to life, way more to see. I just
Right.
I don't know how much more I can be stuck here. I feel like I know everything, everybody, and how everything works here. I just want to go explore more and just see what's out there because you never know. Something can happen like that. And my last memories were what I'm doing in Springfield, Illinois. So I at least want to go do something worthwhile, go somewhere worthwhile, and just find new things, find new foods, new cultures, new people. So stuff like that.
I, bro, I'm feeling you right now because if you've been in one area, it's like it's time to see the world now. I did my time here. I had a great time. I know everybody, but it's time for me to see some other stuff now. So I totally feel you. Now, um, i- is there any? Is there no boundaries? Like, let's say somebody from California offers you something. Is there no boundaries?
Oh, no boundaries at all. I'm open. If there was a team in Japan and they offer me a full ride, you know, I have no boundaries whatsoever. It's just at the end of the day, it's free school. And
Hmm.
the biggest thing with that is like no student loans. Student
Yes,
loans are horrible and
I
it's
know.
it's causing people's lives. People could be 40 years old still paying off their student loans and it's just
I know.
I just feel very grateful and ecstatic that I have the opportunity to go somewhere where I get a free education because that is just rare. And
Yeah.
no one really talks about that in the Division One. Like it's more all sports, but like we're getting free school. Like that's like it's free. It's like a no brainer. I feel like people would kill to be in the situations we are. So I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It doesn't feel real sometimes because everyone in my family's had to pay to go to school,
Hmm.
and they have student loans, and no one likes student loans. So it just means I don't know. It makes me feel a certain type of way knowing I have the opportunity to not have to pay for school. I mean, it's crazy.
And you know what? There could be even more for you down the line. So, with the NIL deals, you never know. You never know. So those things are out there to be able to help you, be able to help your family and things of that nature. My cousin plays for the University of California. He went to LSU his freshman year, played safety, corner, transferred. He entered the transfer portal, went to California, got a little NIL deal. Hey, my cousin and fam, we good. You feel what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a great thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but he's family first, and it's about that, and those things will come back for you. So, as we get ready to close, I want to ask you one big thing before we get ready to close out here, and I
Yes,
always
sir.
ask all the young men before we get off here, um, who can you say contributed to your current success? And it can be anyone, it can be family, it could be your coaches, anything. But who was the most influential people in your life to get you where you are today? And who would you say, now this is what was the turning point, or these people, whether it's family or whatever, just really just them being in my corner just helped me take it to the next level.
I'd say definitely both my mom and my dad. Growing up, they had me on at 18,
Hmm.
and that's hard to do. And the
Right,
fact that they've been able to stay together, stick together through it all and just, work as one and just build me up to the man I am today while also working hard and trying to figure out who they want to be. Because they're still super young. My parents are both 35 and I just turned 18.
right.
So I don't know. It's crazy. They're still trying to live their lives. This is
Hmm.
everyone's first life. Like
Hmm.
this is no one's like second, third. Like we're all people that were brought here. So they're still trying to figure out who they're going to be and what they want to do with their lives while also, raising a young man. And raising a young man's hard in today's society. So it's just, I couldn't thank them enough for it. You know, my dad, he's always been in my corner. He's a real sports guy, and my mom too. My mom's always been there no matter what. And like it's hard for me to even have an argument with them or argue with them. And I never have, and I never will, because they've done stuff for me I couldn't even fathom of doing for someone else. And it's just out of pure love and generosity and their will. It's not, they're not forced to do this. They didn't have to send me to a private school. They didn't have to pay for the football, basketball stuff. They didn't have to do AAU basketball for me. They didn't have to travel with me. They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to they didn't even have to have me, you know. So
Right.
it's
Right.
just like, I don't know, I couldn't thank them enough for it, seeing what I am today. And they're very proud of me. And that means a lot, because some kids don't hear that their parents are proud of them. Some kids don't have parents.
Hmm.
Some
Hmm.
kids don't have someone in their corner. Uh, I don't know. I thank God every day that He blessed me with two loving parents and a loving family and just people that care. And it's rare, it's just rare to have people that care and people that are positive in your life. I couldn't thank them enough for it. So for
Well,
sure.
I'll tell you what, I got my homeboy David Jenkins. He got a little comment for you. He says, "Tell Chucky that his purpose and his confidence has humbleness to succeed in life, takes his positive energy to lead others to greatness." So
I
you've already
appreciate
made an
that.
impression. You've already made an impression on all of us in the chat. You made an impression on me, number one. I mean, just this last thing that you stated, I'm gonna just tell you right now, kind of before we get off of here, kudos to your parents. They've done a awesome job, especially having you young, because it's not a lot of success stories when you see that,
Yeah.
and the fact that the grind is still there, the knowledge and the love they input you and put into you, and just I mean, I don't know, I don't really know how to say it, but it's just listening to you, just it motivates me. And see, that's the great thing. It doesn't matter about age because you being positive the way you are can motivate older people. It doesn't matter. That knowledge and wisdom that you're showing at a young age, you are going to be a great leader no matter what you do. I can see that 100%. I'm not just saying this because we're on air, we're doing the interview. I'm not shucking and jiving you. I'm a real guy. Ask anybody that does my shows. I'm one of the realest. I keep it real. And what you're doing right now, Chucky, is awesome. Make sure you tell your parents, hey, Big Game James or James, who just interviewed me, said y'all are awesome, because they did a hell of a job with you. And I'm just excited to see where you're going to go in the next onto the next level. I know you're going to be great in anything you do, whether it's football, basketball, whatever you do,
Yes,
you're
sir.
going to be great. And I just want to continue to give you the confidence and the love to say, "Hey, we're over here seeing, listening to you, and we're behind you 100%." And that's what we're gonna do. That's why I can't wait to tag these colleges because they need to see this. And if you college coaches, when you watch this interview, if y'all ain't signing this man, y'all something wrong with y'all. Okay, something real wrong with y'all if you don't sign this young man right here because you're going to get a great player and you're going to get a great person. And if you get two of those things, you're going to just be winning all the way around. So I really appreciate you taking up the time. We folks, we were struggling. We was
Yeah.
going back and forth.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear no noise. I didn't think we were gonna get the interview. I was depressed. I was like, man, I was frustrated. I was depressed. But you know what? We got it. God allowed it to open, and I appreciate Him doing that for us because He said, "Nah, y'all gonna get this interview popping because the world needs to see this." And I just really appreciate it. And I just want to ask you one more thing. Do you got any other shout outs to anybody, school, friends, anybody? Just give a big shout out to anybody, whoever you want before we close.
Uh, Shout out mom, dad, all my guys at my school, SHG. Shout out my grandma, may her rest in peace. And shout out you guys. I appreciate this interview. It means the world to me that someone took the time out of the day to even acknowledge me in a world full of billions of people. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, well, that's what I'm here for, bro. There ain't no ulterior motives. It's all about you. It's all about continue to help you be great. And I know that's what's going to happen. So I'm even more excited now that we had this conversation because we want to get you in school. We want to see the finished product, and the finished product is going to be a great thing. You got a great young man. We just talked about so many things with the youth and so many bad things that negative things that people say about the youth nowadays. This is why we do these interviews because we want to show you that guess what? There's some young people out there doing it. It ain't all bad out there, and we want to show the good out there. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Once we end the stream, I want to give a chat with you before you we totally get off here. So make sure we do that.
Yes, sir.
But with that being said, this is Big Game James. Go ahead and let them know who you are again.
Chuck Lanier, 18 years old, DN tight end, SHG. Thanks again.
Make sure y'all find out. Make sure you watch this interview. We're gonna be pumping this. Y'all gonna love this young man, and he's gonna be doing great things out here. And we really appreciate the time, even though it was a little late. We had all the things going on, but we still made it happen. And great
Yes, sir.
things gonna be happening to you. So with that being said, this Big Game James. We signing off in these high